I think I always had those moments with Dre, like when we was in the studio. It was either learning something or he'd be like now when I'm in there, if I'm doing something, he'll be like, "What's wrong with that?" Just to see if I'm still up on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, but I think one time, one of the greatest lessons I learned from him, I remember coming in the studio and I had an idea. I would always have an idea, but I didn't do it right at first. I would say it. And I was like, yo, I want to take break beats and turn them into this and this. And he's like, fucking tell me about it, do it. And then after that, it was like, I never talked about the idea. I just did the idea. And if somebody got it, they got it. And then they don't, they don't. I don't need to make an announcement about an idea. Get it out of your head. Stevie Wonder said once, I think it was Stevie Wonder, about having all of the ideas in your head. Like, just imagine not being able to get them out. Like leaving Earth and just not being able to get them out. And Jazzy Jeff was like, I think he took that same thing and was like, die empty. Try to die empty. And I think those things are super pivotal, but I don't know if it was just moments. It was a lot of moments. Like M told me in a super critical part of my life, he was like, sometimes some situations get too big for some people. Basically, like if you got a management team and they're not able to produce at the level that you're going to, sometimes those situations get too big for them. And you got to kind of move past that and you got to have that, right? And a lot of other things I just learned from trial and error. So I fell on my face more than I actually flew, right? And I think those was my biggest lessons, because even with the mentorship or the people around that I had that were, the one thing that I never was taught about money, how to handle it. I never was taught that. It was like, go get a CPA, go get this, go get that, go do this, go do this. It's like, you're not teaching me shit, because they not going to teach me shit. None of the CPAs I ever worked with ever taught me a fucking thing, except for how to pay taxes. Feel what I'm saying? So I didn't have those things. And like, when you look at that, it makes a big difference. It says a lot about those are the things that I wish that I would have got from. I never had an executive. Sha Money was always a good person. So 50 is great. 50 just always gonna tell you some shit just through conversation. So I just love talking to him anyway. Like I have people that obviously, and I think just for me personally, proof was that. And when I lost him, I was really lost because I didn't know what I was gonna do. A lot of the game I got from him, and I didn't never have nobody really. All the executives I've been around, I mean, like I have mentors. Like Eric Roberson is a guy that I can always talk to, but this is like on a personal level that I can call and be like, yo, man, I'm just feeling like this. If it's things with love, relationships, and shit like that, I got big brothers that I could talk to. Jason Wilson is a mentor of mine, and he's incredible. But everybody's just different things. My father, but I didn't have a lot of influences outside of that. Inspirational though, Dilla was always my inspiration. High Tech, Khalil, Focus, Knots. It's constantly always like new inspiration when it comes to that, but those were my main inspirations when it came to. I don't know if that's a mechanism of mine that I have, like whatever bone that is, like the things that people that starstruck, that I get starstruck. Like if I met The Rock, I'd be starstruck. Cause like, or any of the people that played in the Avengers movies. I saw Mark Ruffalo, I was like, oh my God, it's fucking Mark Ruffalo. I was like, because that just because of the characters they play. But there are people that I'm just fans of, like Thundercat. Thundercat is like, I'm a huge fan of Thundercat. Terrence Martin, like at first I knew him. Like I knew him, like I knew of him, and we would like talking, we see each other, shit like that. But now it's like this thing where it's like, oh no, that's the guy that I want to send my music to and be like, yo, I'm done with this. Tell me what you think, right? Like people like that, Robert Glasper, Gretchen Parlato. Like I'm just fans of these kind of people. And they like different. I'm fans of some of the newer artists like that I bump like this kid Lucky Day. Man, that dude is amazing. And the producer, D Miles, is one of the best producers I've ever heard in my life. He's literally one of the best producers I've ever heard in my life. And I mean, that's saying a lot because I'm incredible myself. So I don't really feel like that about nobody. I feel like how I feel. The way I feel about Dilla is the way I feel about D Miles as a producer. And that's real talk. Because he's incredible. He's incredible. I don't need him to do what Dilla did to feel that way, you know. I think the inspirations of people, like, it's just they come in different places. I don't never get to the point where it's still Dre when I see Dre, but like I've known Dre more my whole adult life. It's really funny. It's a weird thing. Like we work together, but I don't know. It's weird. It's like, oh, what's up, Gary? Like, you know what I mean? It's not like, it's a respect thing. But I would never, I can ask him, like, I didn't ask him when he went through all of the stuff and it was like all of the Apple stuff and it was all coming out. Like, I kind of knew what was happening already. But I was watching the change in him as the person. So I was more interested in that than I was, how do I get to that point? I don't care. Like, as long as you have people like that in your life, it don't mean you always have people to ask, because I've never asked nobody for no money, right? I never asked nobody, like, yo, man, I need to do this. As long as I have those kind of people in my life, I'm always learning how to actually be better every time. So when it was times where we could have did business in the kind of way, I didn't want to do that business with Dre. Like, when I started, it was like, I could have been like, man, I want this, and that, and yada, yada, and this, and that. I didn't want that. I wanted the relationship more, right? Because I cared more about learning from him years later. I remember asking him, we was in Australia, I think it was Australia or London. We were somewhere, and he was there. He was on vacation. He was on his boat. He popped up at the what's called. He's like, okay, we're gonna do these shows, and he was like, okay, cool. And then what I wanted to ask him, I was like, okay, look, fuck the money shit. You're happier. You're more happy. How do I do that? That's kind of conversations we have. And he said, know where everybody is supposed to be in your life. There are people that just want you to use you. There are people that care about you, that really, really care about you. And then there's the business people. And there's this, he said, everybody got to have a category in your life, and you got to know where they are. And now, what kind of money could you pay for that? I'm not going to go to Tony Roberts could say that shit to me, and I wouldn't give a fuck. You feel what I'm saying? But Dre said that, and when he told me that, I became more happy because I learned how to do something like that.